And now for the Honorable Nandranie Coonjah.
Budget 2025, $1.82 trillion under the theme a secure, prosperous, and sustainable Guyana. Mr. Speaker, I arise to make my presentation on Budget 2025. But first of all, I will proudly honor our dynamic Minister, Honorable Ashni Singh, and his dedicated staff in crafting a budget of this nature, catering for a better life for all Guyanese, which truly reflects a one Guyana. Mr. Speaker, listening to the presentation for the past 2 days plus, to the remarks from the other side of the House, it leads one to wonder whether they truly understand progress and development. Mr. Speaker, if that is the reason why Guyana, I think that is the reason why Guyana was underdeveloped during their 33 years of tenure in government. Mr. Speaker, I never want to recall, I've been hearing all the time, but food insecurity and the bad days under this government. But Mr. Speaker, I never want to recall the days of starvation, no soap to bathe or wash our dirty clothes, the long lines my parents lined up to buy basic food items, and at the end of the line was told, all done. It pains my heart to remember the many helpless parents who watch their hungry children. Mr. Speaker, the song for the past 2 days is the budget has no provision to cater for survival. Mr. Speaker, I was born and bred in 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆𝐄. The county was so depressed and forgotten, we couldn't even get jobs. Mr. Speaker, there was a little girl that I know who was in need of a job and was qualified, applied for a job, was called to the PSM for an interview. And, Mr. Speaker, what was surprising, she was asked for her qualification. When she presented her certificates, she was asked for her blue card. This child did not know anything about party card in those days. She replied, I don't have any card. Mr. Speaker, she was told, how do you expect to qualify yourself for the job? So in order, sir, under the PNC government, if you don't have a PNC card, can't eat your dinner. Those were the days of the qualification in those days. Sir, they on the other side are saying this budget has nothing. They're so biased and blatant. Mr. Speaker, 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆𝐄 Region Number 2 is known for its rice cultivation. And sir, in 2015, the APNU came to the rice farmers in their campaign mood under the theme decency, honesty, and integrity, and promised the rice farmers $8,000 a bag for paddy, Mr. Minister. Sir, after they assume office, our farmers all around this world experience the real bluff, fluff, and broken promises. When the then president, with high integrity, honestly told the distraught farmers that rice is a private business, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, since our PPP government took office in 2020, to date, it is with great commitment and dedication. Our farmers are receiving constant intervention and support. Our agriculture minister and his team, both regionally and centrally are often seen on the ground, in the fields, walking alongside our farmers, fulfilling their immediate requests and needs. Mr. Speaker, these actions resulted in increased sown hectares. Mr. Speaker, I want to give you the figure over the period of 2020 to 2023, 106,859 hectares were sown on the Essequibo coast. Support by the year 2021 to 2024, construction of drying floor at Riverstone, benefiting 200 farmers. 5 Canon Jackto sprayers were purchased for the rice industry. Flood assistance program, 80 farmers benefited. 2022, construction of drying floor at Somerset, benefited 120 farmers. Seed paddy assistance, 598 bags of seed paddy were distributed. Fertilizer assistance, 1,555 farmers benefited from 26,865 bags of fertilizer. 2023, Mr. Speaker, seed paddy allow assistance. 2,571 bags of seed paddy were distributed among the farmers of Region Number 2. Mr. Speaker, the support continues in 2024. Fertilizer assistance, 17,590 bags of fertilizers were distributed to 1,543 farmers. Seed paddy assistance, 95 bags, benefited 21,000 farmers. These are intervention by our government and our hardworking and dedicated minister. Sir, unlike the then agriculture minister, who only recognized rice when seen on a plate, our Minister of Agriculture is so experienced and knows how to provide to feed a nation. Mr. Speaker, here are some works executed in drainage and irrigation which enhance sowing and reaping. Construction of regulators at Annandale, Hampton Court and Mars Delight. Construction of irrigation check at Aberdeen Watercourse. Construction of box culvert at Lima Sands and Hampton Court. Construction of tail wall at Little Alliance, Bounty Hall and Evergreen. Rehabilitation of flap gate at Goodington. Rehabilitation of culvert at Hibernia. Rehabilitation of sea sluice at Underniming. Rehabilitation of drainage structure from Anna Regina to Westbury, Coffee Grove, Adventure, and Fairfield. Construction of new pump station at Kapui, Andrews, and Coonjah. Construction of 89 shade houses and distribution of planting materials, Mr. Speaker. The rehabilitation of the charity agro-processing facilities. Mr. Speaker, empowering farmlands in areas such as Bethany, Supernam Creek, Upper and Lower Pomeroon. Construction of farm-to-market roads in areas such as Golden Fleece, Underniming, and Sparta. Upgrading fishermen landing sites across the region. Mr. Speaker, several revetments were constructed in various areas, securing our lands from sliding and also curtail flooding. Mr. Speaker, our PPP civic government supports every agency under agriculture securing food. Not only the rice production area, Mr. Speaker, aquaculture. In aquaculture, the tambaki species is successfully being farmed in the communities of Mashabo, Kapui Lake, and Mainsay Lake, benefiting 2,000 of our Amerindian brothers and sisters. There are 6 outgrown cages and 3 fingerling cages in these communities. In 2024, the production yield accounted for 1,106 heads of tambaqui, which weigh 3,371 pounds. Mr. Speaker, these fish ranges in size from 3 to 6 pounds each and sold at a cost of $500. Mr. Speaker, these tambaqui, if you eat them, you don't know whether it's snapper or tambaqui you're eating. Yes, this is development. This is support for our very hard-working farmers who need to survive, who needs to bring food on our table, and we must acknowledge those farmers. Sir, this project is a personal initiative of our president and is well accepted by our indigenous brothers and sisters who are eagerly awaiting on the passage of this 2025 budget for their expansion plan of additional grow-out cages and 2 other species. Sir, the Nandranie Fish Culture Station is being upgraded to support aquaculture development in my region. Works completed in 2024 are installation of an improved water supply to support increased production. We are planning far ahead with the support of our government. Construction of a concrete base to support aquaculture tanks. Procurement of 10 3,000 liters plastic tanks for the fingerling productions. Work planned for 2025 are installation of blowers, air lines, and diffusers to provide aerations for tanks. Provision of a generator for emergency power supply. Activities planned for 2025. With the ongoing upgrades of the Nandranie Fish Culture Station, is expected to conduct the following activities to support aquaculture development in the region. Rearing of tambaqui fingerlings, commencing in March. Production of all male red tilapia fingerlings in April. Provision of these tilapia fingerlings to existing and new farmers. This sector is expanding, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you heard of my region's plan, and we are eagerly awaiting on the passage of this 2025 budget, and yet, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues on the other side of this honorable House are saying this budget reflects nothing, absolutely nothing. Sir, I wish to draw the attention of my colleague, Honorable Frank Anthony, for more eye surgeries and hearing aids are needed in our country. Livestock. Mr. Speaker, our government support our livestock farmers with chickens, pigs, and the black belly sheep. Mr. Speaker, at a rural women conference hosted in Region 2 on the 11th of September 2024, it was reported that 40% of our farmers are women, Mr. Speaker. Our government caters for all, men, women, and children. Mr. Speaker, we heard in this honorable House that the pathway work is slush fund. Mr. Speaker, I have news for those on the other side because of ignorance will continue remaining on the other side. Mr. Speaker, the 2,000 pathway workers, who are mostly young women and girls, were introduced to the world of work by our PPPC government, are attached to education and health sector and are doing fine jobs. But, Mr. Speaker, many of these young women and girls have recently graduated in the nursing profession, Dr. Anthony. Some are employed permanently, Minister Sonia, and some were trained in cosmetology by the Board of Industrial Training. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Ramjatan must apologize to Minister Sonia Parag, it's her workers, and to Minister Charles Ramson and these young people in our region for insulting them, calling them slush fund, Mr. Speaker. Apologize, Honorable
Honorable Member, you use one word which I wouldn't allow, and now you need an extension to continue to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the Honourable Member to have 5 minutes, please, to continue.
Thank you, Minister Teixeira. Honorable Member, you may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Housing and water, I will like to touch a little. Mr. Speaker, housing schemes are seen everywhere, but these schemes do not come on a platter. It was done with feasibility study, the clearing of jungles and swamps, the homes of tigers and crocodiles, into budding housing schemes. Mr. Speaker, the plantations in Joseph, Charity, and on the Nimin Phase 4 were no different. Mr. Speaker, our caring government and our two ministers developed them into housing schemes that are livable. Education. Mr. Speaker, 8 new schools were constructed and another 7 were extended. All school and educational facilities were upgraded, rehabilitated, and maintained. Mr. Speaker, for the first time in history, a special needs school is constructed in region number 2 and is in operation thanks to our government and Honorable Minister Priyamani Chan. It is indeed, right, we're taking care from the cradle to the grave. Mr. Speaker, water. For the first time, we, the resident, will see clean and treated water that will be flowing in our homes within the Lalunian Good Hope areas. The new treated water plant and the drilling of the well at Underniming to the cost of approximately $2 billion will be commissioned in the first quarter of this year. Mr. Speaker, that is development. Water is life.
Water is life, yeah. Water is life.
Mr. Speaker, 12,887 students benefited from the Because We Care cash grant. Successful distribution of teachers' cash grant to all schools on a timely basis to enhance a creative and conducive learning environment. Mr. Speaker, 2024 CXC results. 7 top students are from Anna Regina Secondary, region number 2. 2024 National Grade 6 Assessment, 1 top student is from the school of Hustidaran. Mr. Speaker, and we're hearing the cry, education is on the decline. But our Cinderella County, as we were once nicknamed, is shining in this sector over years. Mr. Speaker, biscuit and juices were successfully distributed to nursery and primary school. 38 primary schools and Kabakaburi Secondary are benefiting from the breakfast and hot meal program. Mr. Speaker, 584 teachers were treated from 2020 to 2024. Mr. Speaker, I can go on and on. I have many more information from my beautiful county of region number 2. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank the Honorable Minister Indar, Minister Bishop, for the 6 and sometimes 8 ferry crossing from Supanam per day, from Supanam to Parika. Mr. Speaker, we also as 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆𝐄 enjoy the timely travel from Parika to Georgetown with the new highway and are awaiting on the crossing of the new Demerara Harbor Bridge. Mr. Speaker, never mind we were nicknamed Cinderellas. We are the Cinderellas that has our golden slippers. We haven't lost it. We are traveling also to Timeri Airport and out in comfort and style. Thank you, ministers. Thank you, our government of Guyana. This is progress. This is development. This is prosperity. I want to thank you, sir. I will now commit this budget for the smooth passage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Ms. Coonjah.